Good Morning America is an American morning television show on the ABC television network. It debuted on November 3, 1975, and first expanded to weekends with the debut of a Sunday edition on January 3, 1993. The Sunday edition was later cancelled in 1999. Weekend editions returned on both Saturdays and Sundays on September 4, 2004. The weekday program airs from 7:00 to 9 a.m. in all U.S. time zones. The weekend edition is 1 hour long. A third hour of the weekday broadcast aired from 2007 to 2008, exclusively on ABC News Now. The program features news, interviews, weather forecasts, special interest stories, and feature segments such as pop news, and play of the day. It is produced by ABC News and broadcasts from the Times Square studios in New York City's Times Square district. The current primary anchors are Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Lara Spencer, along with newsreader Amy Robach and weather anchor Ginger Zee. Retired football player and co-host of Kelly and Michael, Michael Strahan, is a part-time anchor. Good Morning America has generally run second in the ratings to NBC's Today since 1995. It overtook its rival for a period from the early to mid-1980s with anchors David Hartman and Joan London, from the late 1980s to the mid-1990s with Charles Gibson and London, and in April 2012 with Roberts and Stephanopoulos. The program has recently started to dominate over its competitors, and in August 2013, it celebrated 52 consecutive weeks as the top-rated network morning news program. Good Morning America won the first 3 Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Morning Program, sharing the inaugural 2007 award with Today and winning the 2008 and 2009 awards outright. History: 1975, the inaugural year. On January 6, 1975, ABC launched AM America in an attempt to compete with NBC's Today. The program was hosted by Bill Buell and Stephanie Edwards, with Peter Jennings and Robert Kennedy reading the news. Because the show could not find an audience against Today, ABC sought a new approach. The network found that one of its affiliates, WEWS in Cleveland, Ohio, was not broadcasting AM America but instead was airing a locally produced show called The Morning Exchange. Unlike AM America and Today, The Morning Exchange featured an easygoing and less dramatic approach by offering news and weather updates only at the top and bottom of every hour and used the rest of the time to discuss general interest entertainment topics. The Morning Exchange also established a group of regular guests who were experts in certain fields such as health, entertainment, consumer affairs and travel, among others. Also, unlike both the NBC and ABC shows, The Morning Exchange was not broadcast from a newsroom set, but instead one that resembled a suburban living room. ABC took an episode of The Morning Exchange and used it as a pilot episode. After very positive reviews for the pilot, the format replaced AM America in November 1975 as Good Morning America. Good Morning America's first host was David Hartman, featuring Nancy DeSalt as his co-host. DeSalt was replaced in 1977 by Sandy Hill. For the first 7 years, weather forecasts were presented by John Coleman, former chief meteorologist for ABC-owned and operated station WLS-TV in Chicago, who would leave GMA in 1982 to start the Weather Channel. Dave Murray, currently the chief meteorologist at KTVI in St. Louis, provided the forecasts for both Good Morning America and ABC's early morning news program ABC News This Morning from 1983 to 1985. In early 1986, he was replaced by Spencer Christian, who served as fill-in meteorologist for both Coleman and Murray whenever they were away on vacation or assignment. 1976 to 1989, Growth and Change. The program's ratings climbed slowly, but steadily throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s, while Today experienced a slight slump in viewership, especially with Walters's decision to leave NBC for a job at ABC News. On August 30, 1976, Tom Brokaw began anchoring Today while the program began a search for a female co-host. Within a year, Today managed to beat back the Good Morning America ratings threat with Brokaw on new co-host Jane Pauley, featuring art and entertainment contribute to Gene Schlitt. Good Morning America continued to threaten Today into the 1980s, especially after Brokaw left the latter program to become co-anchor of NBC Nightly News with Roger Mudd for 17 months before being named Nightly News' sole anchor. For the first time, Good Morning America became the highest-rated morning news program in the United States as Today fell to second place. At the outset, Good Morning America was a talk program with a main host, Hartman, who was joined by a sidekick co-host. Salt and Hill were scripted as less than equal hosts. In 1980, Hill left Good Morning America and was replaced by Joan London, then a reporter at ABC's New York City flagship station WABC-TV. Hartman and London led the show through several years of success. London's popularity led to her promotion to co-anchor. The partnership ended on February 20, 1987, when Hartman retired after 3,189 broadcasts. After Hartman's retirement, London was paired with ABC News This Morning anchor Charles Gibson on February 23, 1987, and ratings skyrocketed for Good Morning America. They became the most popular news partnership on television in the late 1980s and early 1990s and, for the first time, Good Morning America regularly won the ratings against Today. At one point prior to Spencer Christian's arrival in 1986, forecasts on the program were provided by WXYZ-TV chief meteorologist Jerry Hodick via a split screen between the WXYZ studios in Detroit, and the Good Morning America set in New York City, 1990–1998, Rise and Decline. Good Morning America entered the 1990s with continued overwhelming ratings success. Gibson and London were a hard team to beat. But Good Morning America stumbled from its top spot in late 1995, falling to second place behind Today. London began to discuss working less, and mentioned to network executives that the morning schedule is the hardest in the business. ABC executives promised London a primetime program. Behind Closed Doors would premiere on the network in 1996. On September 5, 1997, London decided to step down as host of Good Morning America after 17 years and was replaced by Lisa McCree. The pairing of Gibson and McCree fared well in the ratings. However, ratings sharply declined when Gibson also left the show to make way for Kevin Newman in 1998. With McCree and Newman as anchors, longtime viewers of Good Morning America switched to Today, whose ratings skyrocketed. January 1999 – May 2005, the Gibson Sawyer period, to improve Good Morning America's ratings performance, which in January 1999 briefly fell to third place among the morning shows. ABC News management selected Shelley Ross from the field of executive producer candidates. As part of Ross' one-quarter proposed changes, Ross ousted the McCree-Newman team and lobbied to bring in Diane Sawyer and team her with Charles Gibson, who had been reluctant to return. On January 18, 1999, the Gibson-Sawyer team paired by Ross debuted on air which, during the first full season, resulted in a dramatic increase in viewership while all other network news franchises saw losses. Under Ross, Good Morning America became a competitive 24/7 news operation with more exclusive bookings, news and live stock market updates for West Coast viewers, and new on-screen graphics which included a news ticker. Good Morning America began originating entire shows from unique locations which, according to Nielsen Media Research, resulted in more people watching and for longer periods of time. Good Morning America became the first to originate a live show from an aircraft carrier during wartime, from the White House, from the Pentagon, from the Vatican and from the Tower of London. Viewership during this time increased by nearly 1 million households, and income revenue soared. Although Today remained the top-rated morning news show, the Sawyer, Gibson and Ross team inched close, creating a viable rival. According to Linda McLough, executive director of news research at ABC News from 2001 to 2009, when Shelley left, her viewing momentum was initially sustained, but a season later, the audience began to decline. It is like passing the baton in a relay race. Antonio Mora served as newsreader for the program until March 18, 2002, when he left to become an anchor at CBS-owned and operated station WBBM-TV in Chicago. He was replaced by former ESPN anchor and correspondent Robin Roberts. The show moved from the ABC News headquarters in Manhattan's Lincoln Square district to its present home at the Times Square studios on September 13, 1999. The new location made it possible for the program to feature a live audience outside the studio, similar to today. May 2005 June 2006, the Gibson-Sawyer Roberts period. On May 23, 2005, ABC News announced that Robin Roberts would be promoted from newsreader to co-anchor of Good Morning America, joining Gibson and Sawyer. Roberts has previously served as a regular substitute for Gibson and Sawyer when either were on vacation or on assignment. On November 3, 2005, Good Morning America celebrated its 30th anniversary with retrospectives on and clips from the show's history and by decorating Times Square. Former co-hosts Hartman and London, along with former meteorologists Spencer Christian, were among the guests of honor. Hartman signed off the show that day with his trademark "Close from all of us, make it a good day." That same day, Good Morning America became the first network morning news program to begin broadcasting in high definition. On December 2, 2005, weather anchor Tony Perkins left the program after 6 years. The last 10 minutes of that day's edition were dedicated to Perkins, during which he gave thanks to one of the show's producers and a heartfelt goodbye to anchors Gibson, Roberts and Sawyer. Perkins left the program to return to his family in Washington, D.C. and join Fox-owned and operated station WTTG, where he previously served as a weather anchor. He affectionately said to his young son on air, "Connor, if you're watching, Daddy's coming home." Perkins was replaced by Mike Bertz, former weekday morning sports anchor at WGN-TV in Chicago. Gibson left Good Morning America for the second time on June 28, 2006. The program was dedicated to his 19 years as its anchor and celebrated his new role as anchor of ABC World News. Gibson ended his tenure by stating, "For 19 years, my mornings have been not just good they've been great." June 2006 December 2009, the Sawyer Roberts period. There had been speculation that Sawyer would leave Good Morning America when her contract expired in 2007, to assume the anchor position at ABC World News that was given to Gibson. In August 2006, Chris Cuomo was named news anchor, while continuing his anchoring duties on the news magazine Primetime and serving as ABC News' senior legal correspondent. Meanwhile, Sam Champion was named the new weather anchor for Good Morning America and weather editor for ABC News. Both Cuomo and Champion began their respective duties on the program on September 5, 2006, when Good Morning America instituted a new graphics package, a new news area for Cuomo to report headlines. The following week on September 13, 2006, Good Morning America introduced a new logo this time with gold font on a blue background. This logo bore a resemblance to the initial Good Morning America logo that was used up to early 1987. On June 29, 2007, the program's longtime film critic Joel Siegel died due to complications from colon cancer at age 63. The July 9 edition of GMA was dedicated to Siegel, with former hosts Hartman, Hill, London, Newman, Christian, Perkins and Gibson all appearing to share their memories. 1 month later on July 31, 2007, Robin Roberts announced that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer, after discovering a lump in her breast during a self-examination while preparing the Siegel tribute episode. Roberts remained as anchor while undergoing chemotherapy, and completed radiation treatments on March 28, 2008. On October 22, 2007, Good Morning America introduced a new on-air graphics package. Using much of the design features of its former graphics, it went from a basic blue background to a more orangish gold setting. Good Morning America's opening changed from the camera zooming in on the hosts while introducing the host, to an opening with new music and a background with a Good Morning America logo descending onto the frame. It also changed its news ticker in time and temperature bug for the first time in years. The ticker featured an orange background with a modified ABC News logo. The bug still featured the time and current local temperature to the left but with an orange backdrop with an alternate GMA logo and the abcnews.com logo to the right. On January 15, 2008, during an interview with Diane Sawyer on the program, actress Diane Keaton commented on Sawyer's physical attractiveness, stating that if she had lips like Sawyer's, then I wouldn't have worked on my fucking personality. Keaton quickly apologized for the remark and Sawyer jokingly threatened to have her mother work on your personality with soap in your mouth. Officials with the Federal Communications Commission declined to take action for the fleeting expletive. Following the death of Michael Jackson, Charles Gibson returned to the Good Morning America anchor desk with Roberts on June 26, 2009, while Sawyer was away. In September 2008, Good Morning America's anchors rode an Amtrak train to tour the United States as part of ABC News' 50 States in 50 Days event, in which the program was broadcast from different locations around the U.S. each day throughout that month. The tour's first telecast stop was in Stockbridge, Massachusetts. December 2009 April 2014, the Roberts-Stephanopoulos period. On September 2, 2009, ABC announced that Sawyer would replace Gibson as anchor of ABC World News at the end of that year. Speculation had been swirling that either George Stephanopoulos, news anchor Chris Cuomo, weekend anchor Bill Weir, or World News Saturday anchor David Muir would replace Sawyer on the program. Representatives for ABC News stated that it wanted to return the show to the original male-female anchor format. On December 10, 2009, Stephanopoulos was announced as Sawyer's replacement, with Ginger Zee replacing Cuomo as newsreader. The changes took effect on December 14, 2009. In April 2010, the anchor desk was moved back in front of the studio's window overlooking Times Square, where it had been when Good Morning America moved to the Times Square Studios facility in 1999. The news desk was also moved in front of a window. On May 3, 2010, the program debuted new light blue and sunny graphics and new theme music by Dream Artists Studios. On January 31, 2011, an entirely new set for the program was introduced. The monitor used for national weather segments was moved closer to the anchor desk while the news desk remained in the same place. This was the first major set change since the show upgraded to high definition in November 2005. On March 17, 2011, ABC News President Ben Sherwood announced that former GMA national correspondent Lara Spencer would be rejoining the program in a newly created lifestyle anchor position. On March 29, 2011, ESPN anchor Josh Elliott was named news anchor of the program following the departure of Ginger Zee. In summer 2011, Good Morning America decided to vacate the first floor of the Times Square studios because of cost issues. On September 6, 2011, Good Morning America began broadcasting from an entirely new set located on the first floor of the Times Square studios. Amid declining ratings at Today in the aftermath of reports of Matt Lauer's alleged role in Ann Curry's departure as co-host, viewership for Good Morning America increased starting in 2012. The program beat Today for the first time in 16 years during the week of April 9, 2012. Ending the program's streak of 852 consecutive weeks as the most-watched network morning news program, by a margin of 31,000 more viewers than the NBC program. Good Morning America beat Today once again during the week of April 16, 2012, by a much larger margin of 166,000 viewers. During the week of April 1, 2012, ABC News special correspondent Katie Couric, who had recently joined the network as part of a deal to host a syndicated talk show distributed by corporate sister Disney ABC Domestic Television, filled for Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. Couric had hosted the rival NBC morning program Today from 1991 to 2006. Her Good Morning America stint marked her return to morning news after 6 years. On August 30, 2012, Roberts went on medical leave after undergoing a bone marrow transplant following her diagnosis with myelodysplastic syndrome. Good Morning America correspondent Amy Robach and 20/20 anchor Elizabeth Vargas served as the primary substitutes, typically alternating every other week. Others have also served as special guest anchors during this time, such as Kelly Ripa, Jessica Simpson, Barbara Walters, and Elizabeth Hasselbeck. On January 14, 2013, Roberts announced she hoped to be returning sometime in February of that year. Roberts performed dry run rehearsals during the week of January 21 in preparation for her return, in which she and her doctors evaluated her body's reaction to the makeup, the lighting, her hair, and the number of people she comes in contact with to avoid compromising her then gradually improving health. Roberts returned to Good Morning America part-time on February 20, 2013. She announced in August 2013 that she would return to full-time hosting duties on September 3 of that year. In 2013, GMA won its first May sweeps ratings period in 18 years. On December 4, 2013, weather anchor Sam Champion departed GMA after 7 years on the program to join the Weather Channel, where he became primary anchor of the competing morning program America's Morning Headquarters. He was succeeded the following day by Ginger Zee, who had been serving as meteorologist for the weekend editions of GMA and was also named in Champion's former position as weather editor for ABC News. On March 30, 2014, news anchor Josh Elliott left ABC News after 3 years as news anchor of GMA to become a correspondent for NBC Sports, amid reports that contract negotiations to increase his annual salary broke down. Elliott was replaced as news anchor by Amy Robach later that week. The morning show still continues to dominate over the competition even with the loss of 2 major cast members in Champion and Elliott. In early April 2014, several media reports began speculating that Michael Strahan was on the verge of joining GMA as a contributing anchor, while maintaining his hosting role on Live with Kelly and Michael. Strahan's new position was confirmed on April 15, 2014 when he was introduced to the audience as the new co-anchor alongside Robin, George, Lara, Amy and Ginger. At the same time, ESPN host Tony Reale was announced as the new social media contributor to the program. April 2014 Present, the Robert Stephanopoulos Spencer period. On April 18, 2014, Spencer was promoted to co-anchor effective immediately, getting top billing on the program alongside Roberts and Stephanopoulos. Spin-off, Good Afternoon America. From July 9 to September 7, 2012, a special summer afternoon edition of Good Morning America, titled Good Afternoon America, aired at 2 p.m. Eastern/1 p.m. Central weekdays, replacing the cancelled talk lifestyle show The Revolution. Good Afternoon America was taped immediately after the morning program and focused on lighter fare, except when the July 20 Aurora Century 16 theater shooting required live coverage. Like its morning counterpart, Good Afternoon America originated from Times Square Studios. The limited-run program was hosted by Good Morning America news anchor Josh Elliott and lifestyle anchor Lara Spencer. The program was replaced by General Hospital, which moved to the 2 p.m. Eastern Time slot on September 10, 2012. On-air staff. Current on-air staff, anchors, Robin Roberts, anchor, previously sports contributor and news anchor, George Stephanopoulos, anchor, also host moderator, this week, Lara Spencer, anchor, previously correspondent and lifestyle anchor, Amy Robach, news anchor, Ginger Zee, weather anchor, Michael Strahan, contributing host, also co-host of Live with Kelly and Michael, contributors and correspondents, Dan Abrams, legal analyst and fill-in anchor, also co-anchor of Nightline, Marty Becker, veterinarian, Gio Benitez, correspondent and fill-in anchor, Richard Besser, senior medical and health editor, Abby Bowdrow, Los Angeles bureau correspondent, Melody Hobson, financial contributor, Dr. Tim Johnson, medical correspondent, Tori Johnson, workplace contributor, Elizabeth Leamy, consumer correspondent, Emeril Lugas, food contributor, Cameron Matheson, features correspondent, Sarah Moulton, food contributor, David Muir, correspondent and fill-in anchor, also co-anchor, 20/20 and weekend anchor of ABC World News, Rihanna Neenan, correspondent, Alex Perez, correspondent, Alexandra Peter, news special correspondent, Wolfgang Puck, food contributor, Brian Ross, investigative reporter, Melissa Rycroft, correspondent, Claire Shipman, senior national correspondent, Rachel Smith, features correspondent, Becky Wiley, technology editor, former on-air staff, anchors, David Hartman, Nancy DeSalt, Sandy Hill, Joan London, Charles Gibson, Lisa McCree, Kevin Newman, Diane Sawyer, news anchors, Steve Bell, Margaret Osmer, Kathleen Sullivan, Jed Duvall, Paula Zahn, fill-in news anchor, Forrest Sawyer, Mike Schneider, Erin Brown, fill-in news anchor, Morton Dean, Elizabeth Vargas, Kevin Newman, Antonio Mora, Robin Roberts, Chris Cuomo, Judia Chang, Josh Elliott, weather anchors, John Coleman, Dave Murray, Spencer Christian, Tony Perkins, Mike Betts, Sam Champion, contributors and correspondents, Jack Anderson, commentator, Taryn Winter-Brill, features correspondent, Pat Collins, film correspondent, Katie Couric, contributing correspondent, Geraldo Rivera, correspondent, Dr. Nancy Snyderman, medical correspondent, Joel Siegel, movie critic, Jake Tapper, political correspondent. Weekend editions. The first weekend edition of Good Morning America aired only on Sundays, beginning January 3, 1993. It was hosted at various points by Willow Bay, Erin Brown, John Hockenberry, Dana King, Lisa McCree, Antonio Mora, Kevin Newman and Bill Ritter. The program was cancelled on February 28, 1999. ABC found that it needed to bring back a weekend edition of the program after several incidents between 2001 and 2003 where the network was the last to break major news stories because of its commitment to airing the ABC Kids block on Saturday mornings, the most serious incident being the 2003 Space Shuttle Columbia disaster, where the network had to balance the need of breaking the tragic news with the cartoons and teen sitcoms being aired that were aimed at a young audience while the news broke and federal EI requirements. The network's affiliates were disappointed in ABC News not providing full coverage, and had to depend on feeds from CNN and APTN News. The current version of GMA's weekend editions debuted on September 4, 2004 with Bill Weir and Kate Snow as co-anchors, Ron Claiborne as the news anchor and Marisol Castro as the weather anchor. Castro also reported on a wide range of subjects from lifestyle trends, to breaking news and entertainment. In March 2010, Kate Snow left GMA Weekend to become a correspondent for NBC News. Various female ABC News personalities filled in as co-anchor following her departure. It was not until 2 months later in May 2010 that financial correspondent Anna Gulladriga officially succeeded Snow as the new weekend co-anchor. In August 2010, Bill Weir left GMA Weekend to become co-anchor of the network unregistered trademark late-night news program, Nightline. Dan Harris officially took over as Weir's replacement in October 2010. A month following Weir unregistered trademark's departure, Marisol Castro left the show. After her departure, meteorologists from various ABC affiliates across the country filled in to provide the national weather segments. It was not until over a year later, in November 2011, that the weather anchor position was filled by Ginger Zee, of NBC-owned and operated station WMAQ-TV in Chicago. However, in 2013, Zee was promoted to weather anchor of the weekday edition of Good Morning America after Sam Champion left the program to join the Weather Channel. As a result, meteorologists from various ABC-affiliated stations are currently being used to substitute on the Saturday and Sunday editions, until a permanent weather anchor is named. As of early December 2013, Ron Claiborne is the only original member of the show's on-air staff that remains from the inception of the current version of GMA Weekend in 2004. World News Now co-anchor Paula Farr is substituted for Gulladriga, while she was on maternity leave in the spring of 2012. During the weekend of September 15, 2012, Good Morning America Weekend topped the weekend edition of Today in the ratings for the first time in the program's history. The start time for the Saturday and Sunday editions of Good Morning America vary between ABC affiliates, though the standard time slot for the program is the same as the weekday editions at 7 a.m. in all time zones. Most ABC affiliates air the Saturday edition of Good Morning America immediately before the Litton's Weekend Adventure block and the Sunday edition before This Week. Many ABC stations also air a weekend morning newscast immediately after the weekend editions of Good Morning America. This has become fairly common since ABC ceded 1 hour of his Saturday morning children's program lineup and turned it over to its affiliates in August 2010. Following Ginger Zee's move to weekday GMA, ABC announced in July 2014 that Rob Marciano will be weekend GMA anchor starting in September. Also in July 2014, Bianca Gulladriga announced she would be leaving ABC for a spot at Yahoo News. Paula Faris will replace her as weekend co-anchor of GMA. On-air staff, current on-air staff, anchors, Bianca Gulladriga, anchor, Dan Harris, anchor, also co-anchor, Nightline, Paula Faris, anchor, Ron Claiborne, news anchor, Rob Marciano, weather anchor, Sarah Haynes, lifestyle anchor, former on-air staff, anchors, Bill Ritter, now at WABC-TV, Dana King, retired from journalism, Lisa McCree, Willow Bay, Antonio Mora, now at Al Jazeera America, John Hockenberry, Kevin Newman, Aaron Brown, Bill Weir, now at CNN, Kate Snow, now at NBC News, weather anchors, Marisol Castro, now at WPIX-TV, Ginger Zee, broadcast, in Australia, the Nine Network, and regional affiliates WIN and NBN, air. Good Morning America on Tuesdays through Fridays from 3:30-5 a.m. The Friday edition of the program airs on Saturday mornings from 4:30-6 a.m. The Sunday edition airs on Monday mornings from 4:00-5:00, and the Saturday edition is not broadcast. A national weather map of Australia is used during cutaways to local affiliates for weather information. Good Morning America airs at the same time as NBC's Today on the 7 Network and CBS This Morning on Network 10. It is unchallenged, ratings-wise, in some regions where other affiliates preempt their network's U.S. breakfast programs with paid and religious programming. The EIA 608 captions are converted before broadcast to the preferred EBUSTL format for teletext encoded playout. Orbit Showtime airs Good Morning America on its OSN First channel from Mondays through Fridays live at 11 Greenwich Mean Time /1300 CET in the Middle East and Europe. Awards. In 1992 and 1993, the program won Daytime Emmy Awards for Outstanding Talk Service Show. In 2010, Good Morning America was nominated for a GLAAD Media Award for Outstanding TV Journalism segment for the segment Total Transformation, Why Charles Bono Decided to Change during the 21st GLAAD Media Awards. See also, ABC News, Breakfast Television, Good Morning America Weekend Edition, List of years in television, references. External links, Good Morning America official website, Good Afternoon America official website, Good Morning America at the Internet Movie Database, Good Morning America at TV.com, Good Morning America show on YouTube, at GMA on Twitter, Good Morning America on Google+, Good Morning America on Facebook, GMA opening, from November 3, 1975 on YouTube. Euro